Hi everybody and welcome back. I am back with another spin on a goddess bracelet. So welcome aboard everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's jump right on into it, guys. So as usual, let's start with our wire, piece of wire. So I've doubled my wire and I'm gonna cut 10 inches of it. And again, that's way overkill, but I'd rather be over than under with this particular technique. And now we are done with our wire. Okay, now to start this out, we are going to feed on that large 8mm bead on one piece of the wire. We will put our wires flush together, let that bead drop, and he's going to kind of become our center. Okay, now keeping our wires together, what we're going to do is we are going to, let's just go ahead and drop our beads out here. We're going to dump everything on the mat. As you know, that's far easier doing a bracelet like this to pick everything up. So I am going to use the rose quartz and I'm going to feed that first bead through both of my wires. Let that go ahead and drop down. Okay, keeping my wires together. I am going to pick up 2 jump rings at a time, and we will do this throughout the whole process, 2 jump rings at a time. Okay, and we'll just leave it like that, and we're going to come back to this once we get to the end, and I will show you how to tighten this up. Okay, and so now we will begin to split like we normally do on a goddess. So because we put that first bead on both, it doesn't really matter what strand we start on, but we are going to start with the other color bead and put our wires together, and we're going to be picking up 2 jump rings through both wires. Then we alternate and go to the strand that the opposite strand we just put on and the opposite bead that we just strung. So we're going to alternate between the 2 color beads and putting 2 jump rings on. That's how we are going to put this guy together. So same process as the last goddess bracelet we just put together in terms of alternating our wires, putting our wires together for each of our jump rings. The only difference this time is we're putting on 2 jump rings at a time, and we're using 2 different colored beads. So we just want to, again, be present and aware of what bead is going on which wire. So a little bit more of, again, just kind of adding another element in. So we're using 2 different beads. So I just want to be careful, when I'm stringing them on, that I am alternating my beads and putting them on the correct strand. And as you can see, this is starting to take shape. And that is going to be so cool. So, so pretty. With the 2 different colored beads, but they really complement each other well. And it just looks really super cool with 2 jump rings. Okay, so this is what we've got, guys. Look at how cool this is. Isn't that beautiful? It's just so pretty. Those colors are going to be so beautiful in the coming spring. This will even lend itself to Valentine's, won't it? Okay, guys, so I'm down to my last bead. And let's go ahead and start to make our adjustments, tighten it up, and see how we finish this off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bead stopper on the end here just for a second, because now what we're going to do is on that last bead there, let me pull this way up for you guys to see. On this last bead here, friends, you're going to want you don't want it to be too tight. We do need to push it down, right? So we've obviously got a lot of movement going on here, right? So we do need to push it down. However, you want to kind of make sure that your wire is centered there with that first bead, right? Like, you see how my bead is kind of like centered on my wire, right? And you want, I would say, like 2 fingernail spaces, like about like that. That's what I'm pulling away at. So I don't know what that is, but I feel like it's like 2 fingernail spaces between our bead, our first bead, and that second bead. We just want a little bit of space because this is going, you know, to act like, see how my wire can move just freely a little bit, but not too much. So it's not really touching this first bead. That's exactly what you want. So now that I am done, I am going to put my strands together, and I'm going to feed my last bead on both strands, let that drop down, okay? Now I'm going to feed my crimp tube on both my wires. Keeping both wires together. Feed your crimp tube on, okay? Now, this is where this gets fidgety. We're going to forget about one wire. We're going to take the other wire, and we are going to now make our loop. We will put one wire through our crimp, through that last bead, and then let that come out and grab the tail. You don't want it to go through any more than just your first bead, and then you got to grab your tail. I can find where mine is going. He's wanting to go through that second bead. Okay, there it is. Okay. And now what you're going to do is this is where it said it gets fidgety. So I'm holding my tail, and I need to push that bead and that crimp down to where it's flush with that other, with that last bead, okay? And that tail's still out there, okay? And this is where we need to determine the size of our loop. So what you do is, while you've kind of got all of this pulled down and you have your loop right here, you want to go ahead and bring up your other side and determine the size of the loop that you need. Okay? And this to me looks like that might be perfect. Okay? You don't want it too small. You don't want it too big, but you want it just to the point where it's going to slide over and grab onto your bead and stay. Okay? And so once you're satisfied with the size of your loop, we're going to go ahead and we'll crimp that off. And once we give it one squeeze and all of our wires are crimped, which they are, we can go ahead and get rid of this tail. Make sure you don't cut your loop. Just want to get in there and just cut just this extra piece of wire off. And we can get in here and we can get rid of our tail. And now we can go around and round with our magical crimper to turn that into a round bead like we're supposed to. Round and round and round until I don't feel any more tension. Okay, I think I'm good. So now, there we go. And we have made a goddess bracelet with no clasp, using our colored tiger tail as our clasp, and we can go around and see. We can just pop that right on that bead. We gave it plenty of room, but it's also not going to slip off. It's going to stay right on there perfectly. I can't hardly turn my wrist, but I hope you guys can see that. And that's what we have. Beautiful, beautiful. Let me pull it back a little so you can see. Look how pretty that is, you guys. I'll turn it around. And there you go. That's what we have. A no clasp goddess bracelet. I hope you guys enjoy technique number 2 on my version of a goddess bracelet with this beautiful pinks and purples and blues. Oh, it's just so pretty. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. And if you did, don't forget to give me a like, thumbs up. Until next time, friends, be blessed.